Welcome to the world of freedom. Today in this video, we are going to talk about 50 Stoic principles that can change your life. Hey everyone! In this video, we've got a fantastic resource for those who are interested in Stoic philosophy. We've compiled 50 unique Stoic principles that can really change the way you see life. We've gathered wisdom from esteemed philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and the great Marcus Aurelius. This content provides insights that you won't easily find elsewhere. Unlike other theoretical discussions, our video gives you practical tips for finding peace of mind, gaining wisdom, and building resilience. These insights help us understand ourselves and the world around us better. We'll delve into discerning what truly matters, cultivating inner freedom in the midst of chaos, and living consciously in the present moment. This video goes beyond your standard Stoicism lecture. It's a practical guide for leading a wise and harmonious life, and each principle can be applied to your daily journey. Alright, let's jump into Principle 1, developing the skill to identify what's within your control. It's all about honing your ability to recognize what you can actually influence. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, emphasize this profound contemplation on control in our lives. And you know what? Cognitive science backs this up, showing that constantly stressing about things beyond our control can lead to unnecessary stress and frustration. Instead of pushing against the natural flow of life, Stoic philosophy suggests embracing acceptance and shifting our focus to actions and choices within our influence. This approach helps us navigate life with greater resilience, allowing us to concentrate on what really matters. Let's move on to Principle 2, making virtue your guide to action. Make virtue your North Star for taking action. Positive psychology supports this idea, pointing out that chasing personal virtues is linked to greater life satisfaction. Seneca's thoughtful perspective adds weight to this notion, emphasizing that true wisdom comes from finding contentment without going to extremes. This highlights the importance of living authentically, rooted in your personal values, rather than constantly seeking approval from the outside world. Let's consider Principle 3, embracing the power of self-discipline. Make self-discipline your go-to strength. Epictetus stresses that self-discipline is the key foundation, and modern psychology backs this up by highlighting the strong link between self-discipline and achieving success in life. His perspective, asserting that true freedom comes from a controlled mind, makes us aware of how unchecked impulses and desires can limit our freedom. By putting a spotlight on self-discipline, it becomes clear that gaining control over fleeting cravings and desires is crucial for maintaining our independence. Let's talk about Principle 4, acknowledging the transience of life. I've been thinking a lot about the idea that life is fleeting. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to ponder the impermanence of our existence as a wellspring of wisdom. Psychology backs this up, suggesting that adopting a long-term mindset helps us steer clear of getting too fixated on surface-level issues and encourages us to genuinely appreciate each moment, echoing the Emperor's advice. When he says, "There is perspective, not truth," it's a nudge for us to accept life's transitory nature and to live with gratitude for the present. Let's jump into Principle 5, embracing empathy. Make empathy a part of your routine. The Stoics were big on empathy, considering it the foundation of strong human connections. Modern social psychology backs this up, showing that empathy improves the quality of our social interactions and our personal well-being. Epictetus pushes us to understand others' perspectives, stressing that we can't control what they think of us. What we can control, though, are our reactions and responses. By actively practicing empathy, we not only build a deeper understanding but also forge meaningful connections with the world around us. Let's chat about Principle 6, tapping into the strength of positive communication. Make positive communication your go-to move. The Stoics were onto something when they stressed the importance of positive communication for better relationships and overall harmony. Interpersonal psychology is totally on board with this idea, pointing out how positive communication plays a key role in strengthening the ties we have with others. Following Seneca's advice, diving into positive communication not only helps build healthier connections but also amps up the potential for love and satisfaction in our relationships. Let's talk about Principle 7, embracing respectful acceptance of differences. Make respectful acceptance of differences a part of your approach. The Stoics were all about respecting and accepting the diversity we find among individuals. The psychology of diversity totally backs this up, pointing out that when we foster tolerance and respect for our differences, it really helps promote peace. By visualizing the kind of person you want to be and shaping your actions around that vision, you're building a mindset that values acceptance. Embracing our differences isn't just about individuals, it also contributes to building a more inclusive society and sets the stage for harmonious relationships with others. Let's dive into Principle 8, tapping into the power of gratitude. Make the power of gratitude a part of your life. Gratitude is a fundamental value in Stoicism, and positive psychology is totally on board with this idea. It points out that nurturing gratitude enhances your overall experience of life, helping you recognize the precious privilege of simply being alive. By making gratitude a regular practice, you can acknowledge and find joy in the simple yet significant aspects of your life. Let's talk about Principle 9, nurturing patience in the pursuit of knowledge. Make patience your ally in the pursuit of knowledge. Stoicism highlights the importance of patience when seeking knowledge, and the psychology of learning drives home the point that persistence is key to expanding your intelligence. Seneca's wisdom, "It is not that we have a short life, but that we waste it," really hits home, emphasizing how crucial patience is in the pursuit of knowledge. It allows for a more profound exploration of ideas and makes your intellectual journey all the more enriching. Let's chat about Principle 10, fostering empathy for others. Nurture empathy for others as a way to strengthen connections and build a sense of community, as the Stoics highlighted. Psychological studies on empathy back this up, emphasizing how understanding others' perspectives positively impacts the quality of our social interactions. Seneca's advice, "Man is sacred to man," drives home the profound importance of empathetic practices. When we engage in empathy with others, it goes beyond surface-level connections. It allows us to establish deeper and more meaningful bonds. Imagine a situation where you see someone facing challenges on the street, yet maintaining a positive spirit. Offering compassion and assistance not only helps them overcome obstacles but also contributes to creating a warm and supportive social environment. This small yet significant act embodies a Stoic spirit, fostering a profound connection between individuals and infusing life with greater meaning. Let's talk about Principle 11, building mental discipline. Developing mental discipline is a core element of Stoicism. Cognitive psychology backs this up, highlighting how crucial it is to regulate our thoughts for overall well-being. Epictetus hit the nail on the head with his wise words, "You are a slave to what you do not control." Practicing mental discipline gives us the power to free ourselves from destructive thoughts and negative patterns, paving the way for a more balanced and conscious life. For example, mental discipline helps you stay calm, rational, and focused in challenging situations, steering clear of getting caught up in negative thoughts or reactions. This internal control sets the stage for a more fulfilling and harmonious life. Let's discuss Principle 12, learning from adversity. Think of adversity as a teacher. Resilience, a key point Marcus Aurelius made, sees challenges not as obstacles but as chances for growth and learning. Post-traumatic growth in psychology backs this up, showing that overcoming challenges can cultivate incredible fortitude and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius advised that adversity is a test for individuals, a way to truly understand oneself through trials. Instead of avoiding difficulties in your studies or work, see them as opportunities for knowledge and intellectual development. Overcoming these challenges strengthens and deepens your understanding of yourself and your capabilities. Let's talk about Principle 13, Mindful Decision Making. Making informed decisions is key to a meaningful life, highlighting the importance of intentional choices that align with our values. The psychology of decision-making emphasizes that a thoughtful approach leads to more satisfying outcomes. Echoing Epictetus' advice, first, tell yourself who you would like to be, and then do what you should do. Conscious decision-making allows us to live in accordance with our values and aspirations. For example, choosing to learn a foreign language to improve your communication skills is a purposeful step toward identifying and pursuing a more meaningful life, followed by the necessary actions to achieve it. Let's chat about Principle 14, Staying Committed to Virtue. Maintaining virtuous persistence is something the Stoics were all about. They believe that consistently sticking to virtuous principles is the key to leading an ethical and meaningful life. Insights from moral psychology back this up, confirming that living by our principles boosts personal satisfaction. Seneca's wisdom, "Virtue is the only good, virtue needs nothing else," hits the nail on the head. Persisting in virtue guides us to live authentically and meaningfully. Imagine someone facing a tough situation at work. Instead of reacting impulsively to stress, they choose patience and emotional control. This intentional practice helps them handle problems maturely and build positive working relationships with colleagues, highlighting patience as a virtue. Alright folks, let's talk about Principle 15, Choose Your Answer. Victor Ephemeral had some wise words about handling challenges. He basically said that no matter what life throws at us, we get to decide how we respond. Picture this, something happens, and before you automatically react, Victor suggests there's a little space. It's in that space that we have the power to shape our response. This principle is like a friendly nudge, reminding us that our choice in how we react can totally change how we see things, especially when life gets tough. Think about a tough day at work. Instead of getting all down about it, you could choose to be patient and tackle the issues. Bottom line, keeping it simple in our responses is a key to finding peace, even when the going gets tough. Let's chat about Principle 16, Keep it simple. When it comes to finding inner peace, this idea of simplicity really hits the mark. This principle is like a little nudge telling us that, even when things get tough, simplicity is the secret sauce to inner peace. Ever heard of minimalism? Well, it turns out that having fewer things can actually crank up our happiness and clear up our minds. Making decisions becomes less of a struggle and more about focusing on what really matters. Try cutting down on furniture and stuff you don't really need at home, and suddenly, life becomes more straightforward. This no-frills approach gives you more time and mental space to enjoy the practical, essential moments in everyday life. Let's talk about Principle 17, Taking a Moment to Reflect. Marcus Aurelius was all about looking inward, and he had a point. He believed that reflecting on ourselves is like a mental health booster, helping us kick stress and anxiety to the curb. According to him, we're not destined to face stuff that's beyond what we can handle naturally. Reflecting lets us dig deeper into why we do what we do, how we feel, and what we think. And you know what that does? It helps us make smarter choices that line up with our values. Making reflection a daily thing is like giving ourselves a superpower to steer our thoughts and actions in a positive direction, giving us a more nuanced view of the world. Alright, let's dive into Principle 18, Being Open to Change. Epictetus had some wisdom to share. He basically told us to roll with the punches when we can't change things and muster the courage to change what we can. This principle is all about having a positive mindset when it comes to change. According to Epictetus, it's not about what happens to you, but how you deal with it that matters. So, picture this: you're in a tight spot at work, feeling all stressed and frustrated because some things are out of your control. What do you do? Well, Epictetus would suggest shifting your perspective and tweaking your actions. By doing that, you gain more resilience and control over the situation. Imagine focusing on improving your skills and reactions. Suddenly, you're making positive changes and taking charge of your life. Alright, let's chat about Principle 19, being in the now. The Stoics were all about savoring the present moment. You know, it's like when Xia told Mara not to waste time arguing about what a reasonable person should be. It's all about being aware. This principle nudges us to appreciate what's happening right now and squeeze the most out of it. Instead of getting caught up in changing the past or worrying about the uncertain future, it's about being your best self in the present moment. Let's dive into Principle 20, holding off for the good stuff. Those Stoic philosophers were all about delaying gratification to find real fulfillment. Check this out. The whole psychology of self-discipline backs up how putting off the good stuff can lead to more lasting satisfaction. According to Epictetus, when you face temptation, it's like a chance to practice patience, and having some self-control sets you up for meaningful, long-term victories. Picture this: you've got your eye on something pricey. Instead of splurging right away, you decide to hold off, make a savings plan, and work towards it slowly. When you finally get what you wanted, it's not just about having it, there's this extra layer of satisfaction and pride because you've been patient. Delaying gratification turns getting what you want into a richer experience. Alright, let's talk about Principle 21, being tough as nails. The Stoic philosophers were big on resilience, and positive psychology has been digging into it too. Check this out: Marcus Aurelius drops some wisdom and says the best revenge is to be different from the one who did you wrong. How? Well, by building up your patience. When you face challenges and stay cool under pressure, you're not just enduring, you're growing into a stronger and wiser version of yourself. It's all about facing difficulties with flexibility and strength. Instead of getting all caught up in hatred and revenge, this principle suggests responding to injustice with something better, not stooping to their level, but rising above it. Alright, let's chat about Principle 22, keeping tabs on yourself. So, check this out: we can get the hang of facing challenges and toughening up Stoic style. Those wise thinkers are all about this ongoing self-evaluation gig as a way to level up in life. Now, picture this: self-awareness psychology is like, hey, take a look at your actions and behavior. And then, there's this self-esteem ethics thing that helps us spot areas where we can do better and stick to the virtuous path. Let's say you have this habit of procrastinating on important tasks. Through self-evaluation, you notice it, and now you're on a mission to boost your self-discipline, getting a bit closer to those ethical goals of yours. It's like constantly checking in on yourself to become a better version of yourself. Let's talk about Principle 23, being kind to yourself. So, check it: psychology and this idea of self-compassion are telling us that dealing with tough stuff is just part of being human. Now, here's the deal: instead of beating ourselves up or rushing to fix things right away when things get tough, self-compassion nudges us to be kind and understanding to ourselves. It's like giving yourself a break, especially in those challenging moments. But it doesn't stop there. This principle is all about spreading that compassion and understanding to others too, especially when they're going through a rough patch. It's a bit of a kindness ripple effect, you know. Alright, let's chat about Principle 24, never stop learning. Those Stoic thinkers were big on the idea that ongoing education is a game changer. Now, get this: the psychology of lifelong learning says that constantly seeking knowledge and wisdom is like upgrading the quality of our lives. Epictetus is all about not just being a learner but spreading the knowledge, whether through teaching or writing. And if you find writing a bit tricky, no worries, just stay open to new ideas and experiences. This way of approaching things is like a slow burn for personal growth and development over time. It's all about keeping that curiosity alive, you know. Let's talk about Principle 25, nailing communication. The Stoics were onto something when it came to the power of effective communication. It's like they knew that how we communicate has a big impact on our mental game. Epictetus was all about the clarity and empathy combo, pointing out how it's key for building connections and avoiding mix-ups. He's got this nugget of wisdom about the beauty of expressing yourself clearly, and he's not just talking about staying silent, it's about bringing mindfulness and empathy into the mix to supercharge our relationships. Now, picture this, you, fully tuned in and attentive, making communication a superpower to help the team crush the goals of any meeting. It's like leveling up the way we connect and collaborate. Let's talk about Principle 26, letting go of outcome worries. This idea of not getting too caught up in the end turns out to be a powerful tool for our mental well-being. When we step back and focus less on the outcome, we give ourselves some mental breathing room. Instead of stressing over things we can't control, we're better off getting into the groove of the whole process. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're gearing up for a big workout at the gym. Instead of obsessing over whether you'll come out on top, focus on the training and prep. This change in perspective helps dial down the stress and sets the stage for better results. Alright, let's chat about Principle 27, nurturing your physical well-being. So, having a solid mindset is crucial, and here's the deal, keeping a handle on our physical habits is a big part of that mental game. Think of it like this, being in control of what we do with our bodies plays a key role in how we feel overall. It's all about making healthy choices that really amp up our day-to-day life. When we commit to physical self-discipline, regular workouts and a well-balanced diet, we're basically giving ourselves a double boost. Our bodies and minds get stronger, setting the stage for positive vibes and an all-around sense of well-being. Let's talk about Principle 28, living with integrity. So, there's this cool philosophy called Stoicism, and it's all about being straight-up honest in how we go about things in our lives. According to this mindset, being a good person means making sure our actions line up with what we believe in. It's like walking the talk, Epictetus, this wise dude from back in the day, suggested that the colors we paint our life canvas with come from our imagination. When we keep it real and honest in what we do, it's like we're living true to ourselves and our values. Whether it's giving our best, even when nobody's watching, or just being consistently honest, these actions are like building blocks for a healthy self-esteem and a positive self-image. Let's dive into Principle 29, being present in everyday moments. So, the Stoics had this cool idea. They were all about paying attention to the little things in life, no matter what anyone else thinks. In the world of psychology, this mindfulness thing is like magic. It can tone down stress and amp up our overall happiness. Epictetus, this wise Stoic guy, had a great tip. When you're doing regular stuff like washing your hands, eating, or hitting the hay, really be there in the moment. Mindfulness is like pulling back the curtain on the hidden beauty in these small moments, making our lives richer. Just think about washing your hands, feel the warmth of the water, notice the soap doing its thing. Suddenly, this ordinary task becomes a mindful moment, reminding us to fully show up for each daily gig. The Stoic vibe encourages us to savor these seemingly small moments, realizing they're actually little nuggets of beauty and meaning in our lives. Let's chat about Principle 30, making the most of your time. So, in the crazy quilt of our daily lives, how we handle our time turns out to be a big deal. Managing our time well isn't just about ticking off tasks, it's about cranking up the quality of our lives. Time philosophy says that being organized and planning smartly isn't just for efficiency nerds, it's a recipe for less stress and more good vibes. When we get the hang of this time management thing, it's like we're turning the dial on one of our most precious resources, time itself. This isn't about becoming a time-traveling superhero, it's about using our hours wisely to hit those goals and make our lives richer. By giving the important stuff it is due and having a game plan, we carve out time for things like reading, hitting the gym, and chasing personal dreams. It's basically about crafting a life that's not just convenient but full of purpose and meaning. Let's talk about Principle 31, being kind and generous. So, when it comes to how we roll as humans, there are these two awesome values right at the core: generosity and kindness. Think of it as the heartbeat of being human. Positive psychology is all about spreading good vibes, and it turns out that being generous and kind isn't just a nice thing to do, it's like a shortcut to more happiness and prosperity. It's pretty cool how just being decent and giving can make life way better for everyone involved. Alright, let's chat about Principle 32, staying humble on the road to success. So, these wise Stoic philosophers were all about being down-to-earth and humble in their journey through life. And get this, even in the world of success psychology, there's a nod to the power of humility. It's not about downplaying your wins, but more about keeping a mindset that's all about growing and getting better. Epictetus had this nugget of wisdom. He said, "Don't get too hung up on stuff you can't control, focus on what's in your lane." Practicing humility isn't just good for keeping a steady sense of who you are, it also helps you approach personal and professional progress with a bit more thoughtfulness and balance. It's like the secret sauce for navigating success without losing sight of what matters. Let's talk about Principle 33, embracing life's ephemeral nature. So, those Stoic philosophers were pretty cool, they didn't go around acting all high and mighty. Instead, they had this down-to-earth vibe, acknowledging that life is a bit like a passing breeze. The real wisdom here is in realizing that nothing lasts forever, and that awareness can really amp up the beauty in each moment. Marcus Aurelius, a wise dude from back then, was all about soaking up life, being grateful for what's happening right now, and facing life with a sense of calm. Think about a breathtaking sunset, colors painting the sky like a masterpiece. Stoic thinking nudges us to get that these moments are like shooting stars, they flash by. And that's the cue to soak it all in, to be thankful for each moment, creating a mindset of gratitude and peace as we roll along on this crazy journey called life. Let's chat about Principle 34, virtue trumps all. So, according to the Stoics, being a good person is like hitting the jackpot, it's the ultimate wealth. In the world of happiness vibes, they're all about how doing the right thing, aligning our actions with our values, cranks up our life satisfaction, contentment, and that feeling of being whole. They're saying, forget running after every desire out there, focusing on being virtuous is the real key to genuine prosperity. It's like a guide to true richness through doing good stuff. And here's the real-life proof: when folks ditch personal gains to stick to what's morally right, that's the real deal. It shows that the good stuff isn't in piling up possessions, it's in living a life rooted in virtue. Alright, let's talk about Principle 35, finding beauty in simplicity. So, those Stoics were all about keeping it simple, seeing it as the source of elegance and crystal clear thinking. And you know what? Modern psychology totally vibes with that. Turns out, having a simple setup, both in your space and your daily routine, can really boost your creativity and get those productivity vibes going. Epictetus, the wise one from back in the day, was all about steering clear of unnecessary complications. He'd say, focus on the stuff that really matters, and you'll be on the right track. It's like the secret sauce for living a life that's not all tangled up in unnecessary knots but is more like a smooth, clear path to what really counts. Let's talk about Principle 36, getting stronger in tough times. So, those Stoic folks, Seneca included, were all about seeing tough times as chances to grow. And you know what? Modern resilience psychology totally backs that up. Facing challenges isn't just about gritting your teeth. It's like a mental workout that makes you tougher. Seneca had this cool advice. When life throws a curveball, don't just whine about it, see if you can make things better. If not, accept it, and tackle the problems with unshakable guts and courage. This mindset can really kickstart some serious personal growth. Take Thomas Edison, for instance, on his quest to invent the light bulb. He faced failure after failure, but instead of giving up, he used each stumble as a stepping stone to success. It's like turning the struggle into a victory and showing that strength in adversity can be a game changer. Let's talk about Principle 37, the power of really listening. Now, in the story of industrial history, the incandescent light bulb is a game changer. Those Stoic thinkers, they were onto something big. They saw how crucial it is to truly get what others are saying, and that's a big deal. In the world of communication psychology, they're shouting from the rooftops about how active listening is the secret sauce for rocking human relationships. Epictetus, keeping it practical, dropped this gem. We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so maybe it's smart to listen twice as much as we talk. Getting into the habit of really listening isn't just about hearing words, it's like opening up a channel for empathy and making our connections with others way more meaningful and deep. Let's talk about Principle 38, keeping it real with authenticity and honesty. So, those Stoic thinkers were all about living a life that's real and true, just like the vibe we all appreciate. They knew that being sincere and honest wasn't just some nice to have, it's the real deal. In the world of authenticity psychology, they're waving the flag for being true to yourself, saying it's the key to personal satisfaction. Epictetus, dropping some wisdom bombs, said that true freedom comes when we stop stressing about stuff we can't control. Practicing authenticity and honesty is like breaking free from fake morality, living life in an honestly genuine way. Picture this: when faced with a tricky decision at work, someone who values honesty won't hold back. They'll lay out their thoughts and feelings, even if it means admitting they goofed up. And you know what? That realness builds trust and genuine connections, making life way more fulfilling in the end. Let's chat about Principle 39, navigating your emotions like a pro. So, Marcus Aurelius and his Stoic pals were really into this idea of not letting our emotions run the show. It's a bit like what we hear in emotional psychology, saying that if we can get a grip on our feelings, it's a game changer for our overall well-being. Marcus Aurelius had this solid advice: don't let your emotions boss you around, instead, tweak your thoughts, and your feelings will follow. So, imagine a work situation where your colleague's actions light the anger fuse. Rather than letting anger take the wheel, shifting how you see things gives you emotional control. Choosing a calm response in the moment leads to smarter decision-making and helps you navigate challenges without letting emotions call all the shots. Let's talk about Principle 40, boosting life with gratitude. So, those Stoic thinkers were big on seeing gratitude as a rock-solid value, and honestly, it's a timeless gem. They figured out that being thankful isn't just a feel-good thing, it actually does wonders for our mental and emotional well-being. Seneca, dropping some wisdom, was all about making gratitude a daily thing to crank up life satisfaction. He had this cool idea: treating life like a loan, and we pay it back by appreciating what we already have. It's like a reminder to focus on the blessings we've got for a more satisfying day-to-day. Cultivating gratitude for the little things, the sunrise, the warmth of the sun, and the joy of connecting with others, brings this sense of satisfaction, turning life into a precious gift that's always right there for us. Let's talk about Principle 41, Embracing the Real You. So, Epictetus had this cool advice: instead of running from our vulnerabilities, just embrace them. And you know what? Research in psychology backs this up, saying that accepting ourselves as we are is like a powerful stress buster. Epictetus was all about being cool with the fact that we might not be experts in everything. It's like saying, hey, it's okay not to know everything about everything. Taking a good look at our weaknesses and limits is like taking off this heavy pressure jacket, bringing a bit of peace to our inner world. Picture starting a new gig without being terrified of making mistakes or having some shortcomings. Facing challenges becomes a chance to grow instead of stressing about them. Instead of beating yourself up over slip-ups, take pride in overcoming hurdles. This way of approaching things not only eases stress but also sets the stage for personal growth, bringing a sense of peace to the whole journey of leveling up in your professional life. Next, Principle 42, the power of connections. So, in the Stoic world, they put a spotlight on how our connections with others and the world around us really matter. And you know what? Social research is singing the same tune, saying that having strong social ties is like a happiness and longevity booster. Seneca had this nugget of wisdom, saying that being smart isn't just an individual thing. It's something we all share together. It's like a reminder that cooperating and supporting each other in society isn't just a nice thing to do, it actually makes our lives better and gives us a boost of resilience. Let's talk about Principle 43, finding harmony in everything. So, this Stoic idea of balance is like hitting the sweet spot in life, and it's not just a philosophical thing, it lines up with what science tells us about keeping things in check. In the world of psychology, they're all about how having a balanced lifestyle is key for both our mental and physical well-being. Epictetus, dropping some wisdom, says, don't get all starry-eyed over what you don't have, appreciate what's already in your hands. It's about keeping the scales level in our actions and desires, steering clear of harmful extremes. Picture a life packed with work and responsibilities, it's pretty hectic. That's where the principle of balance kicks in, making sure we're not running on empty. Taking time for ourselves, cherishing moments of rest and self-care, it's like turning up the harmony and dialing down the unnecessary stress. Let's jump into Principle 44, staying cool in tough times. So, Marcus Aurelius and his Stoic vibes were all about keeping your cool when life throws curveballs. And you know what? Resilient psychology is on the same page, saying that facing adversity is like a pop quiz for personal growth. When challenges come knocking, dealing with them with a cool head and determination is like building up your own fortress, growing as a person even when things get super tough. Imagine you're a student facing a seriously tough course. Instead of throwing in the towel, you tackle it with a calm persistence, reaching out for help when needed. Powering through those challenges isn't just about acing the subject, it's about discovering the strength you didn't know you had. This Stoic principle is like a reminder that problems are like moral tests, and powering through them can show us just how strong we really are. Let's talk about Principle 45, keeping it simple for inner peace. So, in the Stoic playbook, they're all about simplicity as the secret sauce for finding that inner calm. And you know what? Psychology backs this up, saying that simplifying our lives isn't just a decluttering thing, it's like waving goodbye to stress and saying hello to more happiness. Epictetus, dropping some wisdom bombs, says that being happy and free comes from getting this basic principle: some stuff is in our control, and some stuff just isn't. So, keeping it simple is like having a guide, helping us focus on what really matters and steering us towards a less complicated, more fulfilling life. It's not about making life boring, it's about making it richer by cutting out the unnecessary noise. Alright, let's chat about Principle 46, keeping it real with personal authenticity. So, the Stoics were big on this idea that being true to yourself is like a gold standard, personal integrity, they called it. And you know what? Psychology chimes in, saying that staying real with yourself isn't just some nice to have, it's actually a key to feeling more satisfied with life. Marcus Aurelius, that wise dude, nudges us to trust the journey we're on. Practicing personal integrity is like lining up our actions with what we really believe in, making our lives more meaningful. Living authentically, following our passions instead of just going with the flow of what society expects, brings a deep satisfaction and a real sense of meaning to our everyday lives. It's not about fitting into a mold, it's about living a life that feels true to who we are. Let's talk about Principle 47, rolling with the unknown. So, the Stoics were big on this idea of getting comfortable with not having all the answers, calling it a vital skill. And you know what? Resilient psychology is saying the same thing, it's all about being ready and flexible because being caught off guard doesn't help much. Tolerating ambiguity, in simple terms, is like gearing up to face challenges with a cool head. It's about having the ability to adapt when life throws curveballs or when our plans take an unexpected turn. This skill isn't about avoiding uncertainties. It's about accepting them, adjusting our game plan, and staying chill while positioning ourselves to keep moving forward, even when things are up in the air. Let's talk about Principle 48, finding your spark. So, there's this pro, Sarah Sings, who's all about life che philo, and she's saying that having a clear sense of purpose is like cranking up the satisfaction dial in our lives. And you know what? Epictetus is vibing with that too, saying that figuring out who we want to be comes before taking meaningful action. It's like anchoring ourselves to goals that really matter and living with passion, turning our journey into something way more enriching and fulfilling. Whether we're dealing with work challenges or working on ourselves, pushing through tough times with dedication isn't just about surviving, it's about getting that satisfaction and taking our lives to the next level. It's like finding that spark that makes everything feel a bit brighter. Let's talk about Principle 49, owning your actions. So, in the Stoic world, they're all about this big idea, personal responsibility. And you know what? In the world of responsibility psychology, they're singing the same tune. Taking accountability for what you do isn't just about being mature, it's like fertilizer for personal growth. Instead of drowning in complaints, owning up to your actions is like taking charge of your life, making smart decisions when things get tricky. Personal responsibility isn't just about powering through tough work projects without whining, it's about leveling up your problem-solving game and learning from every experience. This hands-on approach isn't just a recipe for individual growth, it's like building up a mindset that's both resilient and capable. Let's talk about Principle 50, understanding we're all in this together. So, Stoicism is all about recognizing that we're all in this human journey together. And you know what? In the world of community psychology, they're nodding to the same beat. Epictetus, dropping some wisdom, said that happiness comes when we stop stressing about things we can't control. Recognizing our interdependence is like a friendly tap on the shoulder, reminding us that what we do doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's like a ripple effect, our actions have an impact on everyone around us. This awareness isn't just about living on autopilot. It's about being more aware, and understanding that the choices we make aren't just about us. They affect the well-being of the whole community. It's like realizing that we're all part of this bigger story, and what we bring to the table matters. Conclusion: embracing Stoic wisdom for today's life. In wrapping things up, these Stoic principles are like gold mines of wisdom, packed with insights that can totally shake up how we live. Bringing these teachings into our daily grind isn't just a nice idea, it's a ticket to a life that's more meaningful, balanced, and just plain fulfilling. The blend of Stoic philosophy with today's psychology is like a powerhouse guide, taking lessons from the thinkers of the past who crafted a philosophy that's a rock-solid lighthouse in the storms of life. Here's the deal. Stoicism boils down to understanding that real wealth comes from building virtue, turning tough times into inner strength, and knowing the real deal about what we can control and what's out of our hands. By weaving in self-discipline, gratitude, empathy, resilience, and humility, we've uncovered some deep secrets to living a kick-ass life. And guess what? Modern psychology is totally vibing with this ancient wisdom, giving it the stamp of approval. These Stoic principles aren't just dusty old ideas, they're like a roadmap to a life that's more meaningful, balanced, and downright joyful. So, here's an invite to pass these gems on to anyone looking to step into a fuller life, because Stoicism is like a compass, handing out tools to gracefully handle challenges and soak up joy with a side of gratitude. Big thanks for tagging along on this journey. Take a moment to think about which Stoic principle hit you right in the feels, sparking a positive shift in your life. If this chat hit the spot, give it a thumbs up and toss it to friends who might dig it. And of course, hit that subscribe button if you're not on board yet. Can't wait to keep this exploration of growth and learning going together. Cheers!